Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Faithfully Fit podcast. And in this episode, special video cast with my buddy Eamon Coyne. Now, here's the deal. Before I let Eamon say anything, I want to let you know Eamon is one of the main reasons why Faithfully Fit looks the way that it does. Where if you've heard our tagline, it's all about relationships. Because it is, and so here's the thing: is Eamon and I have developed this really awesome friendship that started. Really, it started when Eamon came and was on a team that I was kind of helping manage slash run and go get stuff for. Started our relationship there, but really deepened our relationship over an hour and a half conversation at Chipotle when we were both competing at the Granite Games. A conversation in which we both came to the conclusion that there were some beliefs that we held similar, there were some beliefs that we held different, but yet through that developed a friendship. And so I cannot tell you how excited I have been. We tried to do this a couple of times and had some schedule conflicts. But Eamon, thank you so much for joining us, dude.
Thanks, man. Glad to be here.
So, all right. So, Eamon, the title of this podcast is Friend, Competitor, and Mogul. And I'm excited about the CrossFit Mogul conversation here in a little bit because you are all over everything. And it's pretty awesome to see what you're doing. But dude, I wanted like I said, I wanted to hit this with friend real quick because for me, like that's where this podcast really revolves around, and that's where this this episode is so exciting for me. And so, Eamon, do me a favor, just tell us a little bit about who you are and where you're from right now.
Sure. My name is Eamon Coyne. I live in New Jersey with my wife and two boys. I'm 40 years old. I'm an affiliate owner. I'm a veteran. I own a supplement company. That's all I don't know if you can hear the beeps that are coming in. That's all my emails going crazy. Sorry about that. I own a corporate wellness company, and then I'm one of the owners of the Masters Fitness Collective.
Awesome, man. So much going on. Now, here's one of the really cool things that I absolutely love about following your Instagram is, dude, I don't know if there's anybody who loves his two kids more than you do.
Yeah, man. We'll get into legacy later, but my wife and I didn't come by children very easily, and they're incredible. The kids are incredible, man, and it's really great that I'm lucky enough that I get to be their dad. So yeah.
And that's awesome. I mean, you constantly always posting stuff, always sending our group stuff. You know, we're both part of a group chat on Instagram, and so we always get a chance to see Eamon's kids, and your kids are funny, man. Orion cracks me up. He's just a free spirit doing everything he wants.
Orion cracks me up too. Orion also cracks me down. So.
Man, that's definitely parenthood. That's my, Abby is my youngest. Abby is 7, and that little girl, love her to death. And there are moments where she drives me absolutely up the wall.
Yep.
So,
but that's all a part of the journey, man.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is, man. So, hey, dude. So I want to spend just a couple of minutes, and honestly, I wanted to chat a little bit about the, and I know that we won't remember word for word. I don't remember word for word, but I wanted to chat a little bit about the conversation that we had at Chipotle that day. Maybe more surrounding just the atmosphere of the conversation, and a lot less maybe the content or the content of it. But as I go through and with Faithfully Fit, I do a ton of traveling and a ton of just trying to meet people. And for me, you and I have talked. For me, it is so much about building that relationship that that regardless of how you believe, I can still use my faith to love on you and to care for you, and develop that mutual bond, from somebody who, and not trying to get into anybody's theology or anything, but for somebody who does not believe exactly the same way as I do, man, how do you view that development of relationships?
Um, I mean, we can. I'll get into religion. It doesn't matter. I'm not shy talking about that stuff, right?
And that works, man. I mean, that's
Um,
fine.
I was raised Catholic. I was raised in a Catholic household. I went to Catholic church growing up. Um, I'm sure people have their ideation about what that looks like because there is a very uh, it's a stigma-based religion, right? And that's really the only way to describe the Catholic religion. Is it's like if you do anything outside of like misbehave or whatever, you're going to go to hell, right? And for kids, in my opinion, that's not really a great way to teach lessons. But regardless of that, I was um, I was a part of like the faithful Catholic religion until about 2007, late 2007. I was in Afghanistan. I was in the military. I was over in Afghanistan fighting the war over there, and um, I lost a lot of faith in humanity, and I lost my Catholic religion there because I couldn't reconcile how this loving being could create so much hate in the world. And people could say it's the devil, blah, blah, blah. But I saw a lot of hate when I was there. And I felt a lot of hate when I was there. Um, so I got home from Afghanistan and I just made the choice to not go to church anymore. And then it kind of like branched out from there. But then I realized that and I don't know if it's the psychology of belief or what, but there was a point in my life where I kind of finally understood that, there's definitely some kind of like, I'm a business guy, right? So I equate it to um, the invisible hand of economics, right? There is some kind of invisible force that is acting upon life, right? Because now I look out my window here and I hear the birds and I see the trees and I look at my kids, and all I see is love, right? Um, and beauty. So there's definitely some kind of there's something there. I don't know what it is. But to your point about that conversation we had at Chipotle, and I've told you this before, that was probably one of the most impactful conversations about belief and religion and um, personally my direction because I felt appreciated and heard by you, right? Like it's like I'm experiencing this thing because of these past experiences and you had nothing but respect for me. You weren't trying to shove religion down my throat. You weren't trying to change my mind or bring me over to your belief structure. You just listened, right? To me, that is what human connection is about, and the that's really the collection of love, right? If you're able to sit in a room with somebody and have a conversation on something you don't agree with, maybe not like vehemently don't agree with, like with what's been going on in this country over the past year or so, but just a belief structure is different, and being able to see and listen to somebody and actually like there's a difference between hearing and listening, right? Like hearing is like, yeah, it goes in one ear, comes out the other. Listening, it's like, I've internalized this conversation and I'm not looking to prove my next point or anything like that. I'm just looking to talk. Um,
Mhm.
that's a relationship. And I feel, my personal opinion is like, if I lead my life in a way that leaves an impact and a positive impact on people, and I talked about legacy earlier for my kids, if I leave a legacy that is positive, I think if there is an afterlife, I'm headed there, right? Because my moral compass is on to the point that I feel I have earned the ability to go to whatever this afterlife is, right?
Mhm.
Once again, that's
Yeah.
a little bit of Catholicism talking about like earning something. Right? It's ingrained, man. Can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
So,
No, well, no, and yeah, no, we talked about that, and that's one of the really interesting parts, and I think it's one of the really interesting parts about our relationship, and you said it, but the fact that there are a lot of things that you have said, and even when we were talking about in Chipotle, that there are things that I disagree with. I mean, just like you were talking about. I mean, talked about that how could a good God, good being, create hate? And I think I expressed to you that I didn't believe that he created it in the same way that I think that it goes back to certain roots of theologies that believe that God creates even the bad situations and creates even the evil. That my understanding of certain theologies is different. That he doesn't create those, but also that he does not. That he does allow us to have free will, and unfortunately, people can be evil. And so anyway, not trying to, didn't want to spend a lot of time talking about that because this is really getting to know you, and I appreciate your thoughts and being so candid with that. And so, but part of it, so we talked about so Eamon the friend, and we've wrapped up a lot of Eamon the friend, Eamon the competitor. Now here's the deal. Okay, I'm gonna I'm trying to figure out if I want to start the tone with this or if I want you to, because it's my belief. I'm going to start the tone. It's my belief that Eamon has a really amazing shot at being one of the games competitors in the Masters 40 to 44 division this year. So let me ask you, what is your expectation for the age group online qualifier this year?
I'm going to start off by saying we don't talk about the G word right now. I grew up playing hockey for a very long time, so I'm a little superstitious.
Little superstitious. I understand
Yeah,
that.
yeah, I'm really excited about it. I think the hay is in the barn for me. I've
Mhm.
done a lot of work with my coach this year, and I've overcome a lot of. I never felt like I was good enough, right? I know I'm a talented athlete, but I never felt like I was good enough to stand up there with the other athletes at the CrossFit Games. I'm I'm doing a lot of visualization of what it looks like to actually be there right now, and I have a very positive outlook on how next week's going to go. And my positive outlook revolves around my headspace and where I'm at there, and knowing that I'm going to leave it all on the table regardless of the outcome because I don't have control over that. So, yeah.
Well, and so you are allowed to be the superstitious one, and allowed to be the calm and reserved one. You know me, I am the ultimate hype man. So for anybody that is listening, anyone that is watching, you need to put Eamon Coyne on your follow list, because the dude is so one. Here's the deal: is Eamon is a solid 5'6". He's going to
Seven,
claim
five,
5'7". Here's
seven.
the
Come on.
Stop it. Stop it. I'm 5'7", and we have a picture of you and me standing next to each other, and I'm an inch taller than he. Stop it. But you, okay, no, so here's the deal. You weigh what, 175 ish?
169.
What, 169? Oh my gosh. Okay, Eamon has got to be pound for pound the strongest masters athlete out there, and that's only because I'm not incredibly familiar with everyone else lifting right now, because I'd call him pound for pound the strongest athlete in general. Um, the dude is just because okay. So you posted a video. You were down with Training Think Tank because Kyle Ruth is your
My
coach,
coach, yeah.
and so you were down with Training Think Tank last week doing
Yep.
kind of an AGOQ run through, right?
Yeah, like a mini camp. Yep.
Yeah. And so you posted a 2 rep overhead squat that was how much?
Well, the 2 rep was 280 or 290. I don't remember. The 1 rep was the one that you saw. That was 302.
Oh, that's so much weight. That's ridiculous. And to do that at 169, I mean, good grief. I'm at 200, 199, and 255 is a struggle for me. Of course, I don't have your mobility and all that, but still, it just anyway. Sorry, I'm getting all excited. I'm getting all hype, man. You know me. So tell me about the Open.
Mhm.
Now you finished 41st, sort of.
40th.
I
40th.
mean, okay, official 40th. Okay, excuse me. You finished 40th
Yeah.
officially. But that was even with a little bit of a
Snafu at the end there.
snafu. That's right. So what happened with 21.4?
21.4. Um, as I was warming up before I started, I knew I was going to do well in the conditioning part, like the Metcon, just because that's kind of those movements are kind of my jam. But then the complex came up, and uh, your words, not mine, I'm a strong athlete. Um, so I warmed up, and I warmed up at to 275 with a power clean, a hang power clean, and a push jerk. And I was like, cool, that's the goal. 275 is the goal. Thinking that I'd be able to get there with 7 minutes. So I hit I finished the conditioning, and I kind of like sat my butt down for 90 seconds or so. And then I started loading the bar up, and I hit 187 for my first set. And then I hit 237 for my second set. And those felt good. I powered both of them, so I was like, okay. So I loaded 272 onto the bar, 273 onto the bar, and missed the hang clean. So if I had hit
So turned in 237.
237, yeah, if I had hit that 272, I would have finished third in the world in the Open for the 40 to 44.
Uh-huh.
So,
Uh-huh.
but I didn't. So,
oh yeah,
I finished 40th.
no, yeah, no, and absolutely, and I think that was part of, and that was part of the grace that this Open allowed, with taking so many
Yeah.
people that um, somebody who is assured of their positioning, not positioning, but assured of their advancement. I mean, you can take one of those crazy leaps, and if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work.
Yeah, the Open was fun this year, man. Like the amount of stress. I'm an affiliate owner too, and like I haven't done it in a while, but historically, when we've run the Open, like you don't really think about like your workout, but you think about your athlete's workout and how many people you have that you have to send through this and getting planning right, and especially with like COVID now, like it's just a mess. So I didn't have any of that this year. I didn't do any. I judged a little bit. I didn't judge a lot. So I could really focus on just like being in the moment. And I'm with a new community here, a new gym. They're relatively new to being an affiliate, King's Fitness, and the owners there are fantastic. They're just like super awesome people. It reminds me of when I first opened my gym, and the community they're building there. It was so much fun to throw down with them and not have any stress associated with it, right? So, I mean, the finish in 21.1 for me. Usually, my first workout in the Open is like a bomb. I usually end up like in 1000th place or something like that. So knowing that I didn't have to like climb out of this like wretched hole this year was nice. So kind of kept me at ease a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, and so that's it's really funny you talked about the doing 187 and because I had a similar strategy. I was going to do 185 just to kind of get my legs under me and kind of get the feel and because I mean you go through and maybe it's maybe it's my naivete, but I was like, okay, so I'll do the metcon and then head, and usually I do pretty well do on a lift following a metcon. And so, I put on 185 and just pick it up just to power clean it once. And about starfished as hard as I could have starfished at
Yeah.
185. I was like, oh, this is
185, and you're like,
this
oh.
is going to be a problem.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So I went, you went to 237. I went to 195. I was like, oh, okay, let's do this again.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but okay. So one of the coolest videos, one of the absolute coolest videos that you put up, is you were doing 21.1, and
Yeah.
your son was hollering for you
Yeah.
while you're doing the wall walk, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's right. Go, Daddy.
Yeah. What was it? What was he saying? Was it? I can't remember. What was he saying?
He said, "Go, Daddy," and you can rest later. Like, thanks, buddy. Jeez. He's a little slave driver, so.
Hey, here's the deal. I understand that because my daughter. So a couple years ago, I went down and did a team competition, and we took second. Second, really good. This was at a gym that was sending a team to the games, and so a really competitive gym. And me and my partner go and take second. And so I come back that evening, and I'm telling Tiffany, my wife, about how well we did and all the things we were doing. My daughter goes, so did Daddy win? She's sitting in Tiffany's lap and goes, did Daddy win? Tiffany says, no, she took second. And Abby just looks at her and she goes, so no. Thanks, Abby.
Yeah, kids are very, they'll let you know. They'll let you know how they feel.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, and so it was funny because it was fun. It wasn't just hearing Orion yell for you, but it was also, you kind of looking up and smiling and talking back to him, which,
Yeah.
in a year where it's top 200, probably, I mean, maybe it would happen, but like you said, with a little bit added stress,
Yeah.
may not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't express how much my children mean to me. I'm like, you get it. You're a dad. Like, man, it was pretty awesome having them there for the open.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, so you talk about the community that King's Fitness is developing. You talk about your gym, Palace Fitness, and the community that you guys have. One of the really interesting things is as all of this stuff was going on a couple years ago, where CrossFit seemed to be falling apart and upside down and making all these changes. You and I would have a conversation time to time, and you always said the same thing, and it stuck with me, and because I think it really defines who you are within the context of CrossFit. Is you said, man, just wait. The community of CrossFit is amazing, and it's going to do amazing things. And that has always stuck with me that you really view that. Do me a favor. As we kind of start talking about your involvement in CrossFit overall, you have been a part of CrossFit since basically the beginning, right?
Yeah, I started doing the methodology when I was in the military in 2005. So I started following Mainsight in 2005, and I followed Mainsight pretty much through my entire enlistment, and kind of through my entire enlistment, and probably up until about 2011. So 2005 to 2011. I mean, you go back on the message boards, and you can. I don't even know if they have them anymore, but I used to post every day on the message board, and that was the old message boards. People don't know about those anymore. Those were super. Like Coach Glassman used to come on there and like talk, and Adrian Bosman, and like we would have direct connection with these people, and it was pretty cool. That's been back before Coach went crazy. But yeah, I mean, I've been involved in the community since then. I'd say started with that, and then kind of moved from there.
Yeah. Yeah, and so obviously you own a gym, own a gym with Tim Paulson for those that may
Never heard of him.
recognize the name. Yeah, never heard of him. Yeah, and really had an opportunity to grow. Really, so gyms are one of those funny things from the outside looking in because when you look at it, obviously there's the ones that are super recognizable, the Invictuses, the New Englands, and those places. But really, the more and more gyms that you get to following, and the more that you start valuing the community, it's really interesting to see. I would classify it as you run one of the more successful gyms in the nation and maybe world, just based on kind of the way that you talk about community. Talk a little bit about how you guys develop that community and that connection and that relationship.
And um, I've been pulled out of the affiliate. Not I'm just not interested. Not that I'm not interested. I'm not invested. That's not the right word either. I am not involved with the day-to-day operations of Palace. At this point,
Mhm.
I look at myself more as an advisor. But I was Tim and I, in conjunction, were the catalysts for building the community that we have there. We always ran the gym as we're going to focus on putting out the best coaching, the best product, the best experience that we can for our athletes and not worry about the money. Okay. Um, you know, we don't charge an exorbitant amount for membership. We charge $150. We could charge more because our coaching is, I would, you're right. I would put my coaching against, I would put the ability of my coaches against any gym in the country, and I think we would come out on top. I think my coaches are fantastic. And they're the ones that really breathe life into the community at this point. Tim and I kind of like when we started the gym, it was a little 880 square foot garage. I was there all the time. Tim was there all the time. We were both doing our MBAs at the time. So we were in school during the day, but I would be there in the morning to coach classes. We'd be there at night to coach classes. And, we really built the gym in that way. And it was also a place for us to like get in and work out. You know, we focused on the product we were putting out and creating relationships, right? So really listening to people and having empathy and sympathy for their experience, and then creating a way for them to kind of like almost like breathe life back into themselves through fitness. And that's the approach I take with the wellness program that I do now as well, because I'm kind of dealing with the same type of population. It's the community. Once we were able to like get it rolling, it does a great job maintaining on its own with a little bit of like, we kind of like speed up the occurrence of those relationships over time. And, when somebody comes into the gym first time, they are viewed as family, I guess. I mean, that's one way to describe it, right? We've had
Mhm. Yeah.
marriages in the gym, we've had relationships in the gym, we've had friendships come out of the gym. Um, I enjoy that aspect of it. I'm a people person. I like being around people. I gain my energy being around people. I love being in front of classes when I'm able to. I like helping people see that they're capable of achieving their goal and giving them skill sets in order to help them get there. They got to do the work, but I'm willing to put my knowledge forward to help them create a plan. So the community aspect, it's very, you can't force it. It's very grassroots, and it's very invested at that point. If you force it, it'll live, but it'll live for a short time. So that's kind of my approach on community.
Yeah. Well, and that's one of the really interesting things, is with you and you're such a builder, and it's kind of one of the life cycle. I think the life cycles of people that are really amazing builders is that they start something and they grow something and they imprint their DNA on that, and then they continue to move on to things that are builders. That you do such an amazing job of still staying in contact, and being a part of the things that you have built. And so it's not just like I'm going to build and then I'm going to leave and do something else, but it's more of an expansion, and that everything that you do, I see your imprint on, and I see your DNA as it continues to grow and mature. And it's why so much of the relationship aspect is a major part of all of the companies that I mean, there have been several that you do that I have interacted with, like with your nutrition company. I mean, I still deal with those guys. I know you are a part of it, but the people that are doing the operation side of it, I deal with them all the time. There's so much about relationships. I was actually talking to one of them yesterday.
Paul?
Told him, he's going to come down here because he's doing his MBA
Yeah.
at A&M. And so
Yeah.
when he's, or I don't know if it's MBA, but he's doing his degree at
It's
A&M, and
graduate
he's
degree.
going to
Yeah.
come down. Yeah, you're right. And he's going to come down during his residency, and he's gonna visit some people in Dallas. But he was saying that on his way down to College Station, he'll swing by Temple, and we can go get lunch. I was so, I mean, it was awesome. I mean, I talked to Paul online a lot, but and just having him, I mean, he's going to swing by Temple. Now, I did tell him that I'm going to take him to the world's best barbecue when he comes down for lunch.
I've
So
had this barbecue.
that's gonna ensure that he's. Oh yes,
I've had this barbecue.
it is amazing.
Yeah.
Um, but sorry, you know me, man. I get off track. I chase
No,
rabbits.
it's
But
great.
so talking about things that you create, though. All right. One of the things that is near and dear to my heart, because I got a chance to really dive headfirst into it last September, is the Masters Fitness Collective
Hmm.
Championship. And so, obviously the qualifier for the Masters Fitness Collective Championship is coming up June 10th to the 19th. And you're actually, I want to talk about, you're pairing with the Pit Ranch, the teen fitness throwdown. How did that come about?
It just kind of makes sense. We both got our CrossFit license, and they are only about an hour and a half from Fort Wayne. Bobby went out and visited with them last year, and the collections of the two people are or the two groups are, it's not really the focus of HQ, which is totally fine. They're focused on the individuals and the teams, and that's all good in my opinion. So the relationship just kind of made sense. I want to help them support what they're doing. They want to help us support what we're doing. That could mean we are sharing best practices. That could mean we're sharing contacts for like sponsorship deals or etc. But we are sharing a qualifier, so the events are pretty much the same according to like scalability and age group, etc. But I also want these kids to understand that we're stronger than they are, and we'll prove that. So
Yeah, I used to have that thought. So I've got a kid that he was a 14, 15 games athlete. He's 17 now, and honestly, I
oh,
think he's going to be at the games this year. He's absolutely incredible. So for years, the guy was he was the endurance athlete, and anything that was body weight or monostructural, he was going to run away with, and you couldn't catch him. But if you got started and you came back to a bar that was 225 or so, that's where you caught him. And eventually, like in the open, you'd pass him, and so you'd beat him in the open because of those types of things. The problem is now the kid is the strongest little ox that you can possibly imagine. And so he's over there doing cleans at 335, and you're like, wait, how did this happen? Like
because
all that testosterone is not fair, sir.
they don't feel any pain, and that they're high. They're at their highest point of testosterone production right now. So it's biological.
Oh yeah, it's amazing to watch him. Oh yeah, well, it's amazing to watch him because I'm just I don't see a ton of athletes at that level, but you're almost watching them and you're like, am I watching the generation of a games athlete right now? Like, is this what this
Maybe.
looks like? And it very well may be, because he's a kid. He's done CrossFit since he was 10 years old. And that's kind of what it looks like now.
And I think that's what we are having coming up through those ranks right now. But on the other side, we have these individual athletes who are now breaking into the masters divisions, right? If we look at the 35 to 39 division, I mean, how many former games athletes competed in that division this year? There's probably 12, 15, something like that. On the men's side, I'm not even talking about the women. Sam Briggs is a freak anomaly, right? She's 38, and she'll qualify for the individual games again. So,
yeah, she's amazing. Like, just seeing what she's doing is unbelievable. So, but no, and so, but and as we move forward, I mean, I can't tell you. It's funny, you guys, in our group, all you guys always talk about being excited about being in the 40, 44 now and aging up. And, I know that you took a little bit of time off just to kind of get healthy and get ready for 40 to 44. I was all excited because, I keep making the joke. I'm ready for you guys to get out of this division because I know that there's nobody any good coming up behind y'all. So it'll just be me hanging out in the division by myself.
Yeah. Tell that to
but hey,
Dan Bailey and James Hobart and a lot of those guys. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Those guys. Yeah, who are they? Never heard of them before. So, but no. Okay, so let me. I want to be respectful of your time. So last little bit. Tell me a little bit about. The 2021 Masters.
Yeah,
Fitness
we're going to
Collective
host it again in Fort Wayne. We ran some surveys after the competition last year, and we got a lot of great feedback. And one of the pieces was they liked the ease of walking around and how nice the city and clean the city was. So we're going to be hosting it in Fort Wayne again. It is going to be at a different location, but the new location is only about 7-minute drive from the old location. So it's right on the outside of town, and we're hosting it in the War Memorial Stadium, which is 110,000 square feet of space. So we're going to create some really great tests for people, within the parameters of what we have there at that location. It happens over the 3rd to the 6th of September. So Labor Day weekend, not Memorial Day. We're going to have, I believe it's 16, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 16 divisions going from 30 to 34 up to 65 plus. So that's an introduction. We're introducing the 30 to 34. I'm in conversations with some other international competitions. I've talked with the guys that are running the Norwegian CrossFit Championship. I've talked with the Norwegian Masters Championship. I've talked with the guys that run SouthFit. We're trying to get together and collaborate on creating almost like an international network of masters competitions. They're going to hook me up with somebody in Australia, and they're going to hook me up with somebody at Fittest in Cape Town in South Africa. And, I'd love to see, either way, we're taking 320 athletes for the Masters Fitness Collective this year. The qualifier, as you said, runs over the course of 9 days. I can tell you there's going to be 6 events. I can't tell you what the events are, but there are 6 events over those 9 days. You can complete the events in whatever fashion you want. Mandatory video upload. So if you plan to qualify for the event, I need to see a video of your performance for every single workout. There's one deadline, so you can just upload all that at once if you want. And yeah, that's the details for that. June 10th through the 19th. And we will take 20 athletes per division. 10 are going to get direct invites according to their placing from the AGOQ. So after the AGOQ happens, we'll start at numbers 1 through 10. And then we'll go, if they're not interested or they're focusing on the games, we'll go 10 through 20, so on and so forth. So we'll backfill as far as we need to through the AGOQ with direct invites. And then everybody else, the next 10 athletes per division, will get brought in through qualifier. So Yeah, yeah,
It's awesome. That's awesome. Well, and so I got to tell you, one of the really cool things about the MFC, the Masters Fitness Collective, and especially in conjunction with the Masters Fitness Collective Championship is I love how you guys, you're licensed now by CrossFit, but also love how you're also leading the way kind of with Masters. I mean, and like you said, Masters is not really their main focus. You know, in the 2020 MFCC, you introduced the 65 plus division, which now has
games.
carried over into the games. You are introducing the 30 to 34 division, which I'm sure anyone who is 32 years old looking at all these 24-year-olds that are living in their parents' basement and not working a
Yeah,
full-time job, I'm sure they're happy for that. Um, and now you're also leading the charge. It sounds like in trying to make this a very international aspect within the Masters, which is not. I mean, CrossFit itself is kind of still trying to draw in the entire understand how to draw in the entire international aspect. But you're kind of leading the charge with that for the Masters, especially. I really like once again, building and continuing to kind of push the edge and almost bring CrossFit with you instead of doing it the other way.
yeah. I think there's a natural progression to things, right? Like CrossFit started as this underground revolution of fitness methodology, and then we broke into the competitive sphere in whatever that was, 2008 was the first games in the Romas. And then we kind of like it's like just had this like snowball effect. It is the largest network of um, fitness gyms, if you want to refer to them, that affiliates, whatever, in the world right now. The number that CrossFit puts out is 14,000. I don't know the metrics behind that number, but 14,000 people who are doing all the same methodology. Figure they each have at least 50 members, right? You're looking at a pretty large number of people doing this methodology. And I would say that about half of those people are in the Masters division, because that's just like how you would bisect the population. So you're looking at like half of whatever that is, 7,000 affiliates with 50 people in each. That's a lot of Masters athletes, and they just need a platform, and we're happy to be able to at least provide a platform for them. And that's really all it is. The MFCC is just the culmination of addressing a need within the community. And, I when I'm on calls with brands and things like that, in order to try to get sponsorship, if anybody is listening to this that wants to sponsor, please reach out to me. But when I'm on with brands and things like that,
And I'll add if anybody is listening to this that wants to sponsor me, reach out to me
first.
So
But we don't take a dime from the proceeds of the competition. Every single cent that we get from this competition goes back to either the athletes in a monetary form for podium finishers, or it goes back to athlete experience, right? And that was our focus last year. And this gets back to building relationships. Is I just wanted everybody to have a great time, right? And I wanted to run a professional competition that looked good, right? Like if you watch a CrossFit competition run by CrossFit, it looks professional. It looks really good. I wanted to make sure that we had that feel. So it all came down to setup and execution and making sure that bikes work and rowers. So we really focused on the experience. And if we did mess up at all, like I did with the bike, I own that. That's my fault. I should have done a better job of checking that stuff. So for me, and that's like the base of relationships, is like everybody is coming to you expecting you to be the expert in this thing, whatever this thing is. And you need to either fake it till you make it, or you need to pull in other people in order to help you kind of like really execute what your vision is. And we were fortunate enough that we had a lot of great volunteers that came in and helped us execute our vision of the competition flawlessly. So I have not heard, and maybe it's because nobody wants to say it to my face, but I have not heard a single bad thing about the competition that we ran. So I'm excited to do it again this year, hopefully with a bigger prize purse.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's, for those of you that don't know, I had the opportunity to compete at the Masters Fitness Collective Championship, and it was incredible. It was absolutely incredible to be there, especially in the middle of COVID. Ran an incredibly safe competition, had rapid testing going on, but the level of production that was put into it, the level of professionalism that was put into it was just it was absolutely amazing, and there really was a feel of we want to test and we want to showcase, but like you said, I mean, we want everybody to have a great time. We want them to enjoy this experience, and you guys did that very well.
With 3 months to plan it and execute it, I think we did okay with that. We've had 12 months now, so to speak, 10 months ish. We started the conversation with HQ in October. 10 months to plan and execute. I think we're moving right along right now. So we're planning on running not just a larger competition, but a better competition this year. So once again, just giving back to the athletes.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So. Oh yeah. Well, Eamon, man, I appreciate you so much joining me and just having this conversation. So it's such a fun conversation. Hey, anybody that's watching, anybody that's listening, do me a favor, go follow Masters Fitness Collective, Masters Fitness Collective, on Instagram. That's how they disseminate a ton of information. And it's certainly something
we just brought on a
to be following
so
and getting
we should
involved
be doing
with.
a little bit more than just Instagram posts randomly that we usually do. So.
Absolutely, man. Well, Eamon, thanks so much, man. I really appreciate it, brother.